Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my final thoughts ahead of the Game Week 3 deadline. So if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below, leave a comment, what are you doing with your team this week, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, my team is pretty much now locked in. I have already made my transfers. I know you should never make transfers before like press conferences and stuff like that, but I was just a little bit worried about getting priced out of the move that I wanted to make. So I ended up getting rid of Neto for Reed, and then of course upgrading Nico Williams to Cucurella. Again, I'm a little bit worried about minutes and stuff with Cucurella. I just think that the ceiling for him is a lot higher than a lot of other players, and I think he will start the next like 3-4 games, hopefully. And then, you know, worst case scenario, if he starts getting benched and stuff, I can literally just get rid of him for another 5 mil defender like Trippier. There's also 4.5 mil players as well, Brentford defenders, Brighton defenders, stuff like that. Even Ake as well. If I ever go from like Haaland to Kane and free up another City player, I could bring in Ake, who seems to be playing really well. Pep's obviously starting him every single game. I know that Laporte's injured and stuff, and I don't know though. I think even though when they're back, I think they're going to have a really solid game to be able to push Ake out of the first 11. So again, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, but I think it's a nice little punt for the you know, the near future, and I'm happy doing it. You know, Chelsea have got some really good fixtures coming up. He was taking set pieces as well, like corners and stuff. I've got both the Chelsea wing backs. I'm feeling quite confident with them, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Took a punt with him, but there wasn't really anything else I wanted to do because Neto, I was a little bit worried that he was going to get a price decrease and go down to 5.4, and I was a little bit worried that Cucurella was going to go up to 5.1. I would never have been able to make this move if that was the case. A little bit worried about press conferences, but it should be fine. But yeah, that's why I made an early transfer. It wasn't really an early transfer, but either way, if there is some sort of like price rise and stuff, then we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I just wanted to lock it in just in case. But yeah, going with the back five this week: Ederson in goal, Trent, James, Cancelo, Gabriel, Cucurella. That's the back five. All got pretty okay fixtures as well. Midfield is Salah, Martinelli, Diaz. Of course, with the suspension to Nunes, I think Klopp actually said that Firmino should be back. But yeah, Luis Diaz, I can't see him losing his place at all. And then Martinelli, just an absolute staple in this team. And then I've actually gone Salah captaincy now as well. I'm still like umming and ahhing between him and Jesus, but I just think Salah's ceiling is a little bit higher. He's on penalties as well, whereas we don't know if Jesus is. So I'm going Salah. Could be the wrong decision, but last time I went against Salah against United, I was one of the people that captained Havertz against, I think it was Norwich, where they scored like 7 or 8 goals and Havertz was the only player on the field to not get a return. I was one of those people that captained him and then had to watch in horror as Salah put in like 2 goals and got like 2 assists or something like that. It was horrible, so I'm not falling for that again. But yeah, I just kind of want to go Salah anyway. I think they'll bounce back. Klopp will want a response. It's against United, massive derby. I think they can score quite a few goals. So yeah, hopefully Salah will be involved in quite a few of them. And then Haaland as well up front as well, with obviously Jesus. And the bench is Ward, Andreas Pereira, Reed and Archer. If, of course, Cucurella for whatever reason doesn't play against Leeds, then I'm pretty sure Pereira will come on off the bench, because I think the Fulham players made their own like FPL team this week, and Andreas Pereira was in it, so obviously they'll know if he's like injured or not. But either way, confident that he'll be back. Reed does play as well. He's going to be like a 2-pointer that comes off the bench, but either way, he's just there regardless. So that's kind of my team going forward. I'm pretty sure it's locked in. The only thing that I'm a little bit unsure about is captaincy. But yeah, I took obviously no hits this week because I had 2 free transfers. And yeah, I'm feeling confident going forward. I'm really happy about my Game Week 4 team as well. So yeah, really happy with how it's looking. As long as Cucurella starts, I think that hopefully this week should be decent. I know all my players are away from home, which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's an okay team going forward. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens in Game Week 3. Of course, going into transfers and stuff, like I'm going to talk about what people are thinking of doing this week. Again, a lot of people have Neto, a lot of people have Bailly, and it's kind of the conundrum that they've been given, like what do they do with these players. A lot of people are burning transfers and just holding Neto, holding Bailly, and obviously burning a transfer is basically where obviously you have a max of 2 free transfers, and then if you still have 2 free transfers going into the next game week, you just lose a free transfer. So obviously it just goes from 2 to 2 instead of going from 2 to 3, because the max you can have is 2. So that's what I mean by like burning a transfer. So a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are doing what I did in downgrading Neto and Bailly to like a 4.5 mil midfielder like Reed. Andreas Pereira. I think there's also a Southampton player as well. I think he's, Lavia, came from Man City. Southampton fans think he's relatively nailed, so yeah, that's just another 4.5 mil option you could bring in. But either way, yeah, people are doing that and then upgrading the defense, which I quite like. I think that there's just not really any midfielders for that price range that really do anything. You know, I'd be much more happy going with a back five, where, you know, the clean sheet potential for like Brentford players, Brighton players, and then if you've obviously got a little bit more money, then you can start bringing in players like Cucurella, Ake, Walker, Gabriel, players like that I think the ceiling is a lot higher for points, and yeah, like players like Gabriel might only get you like 6 points every now and again, but of course they could always score off a corner, etc. But yeah, like I say, I think the defense is just the way to go at this moment in time. I just don't think there's really any other options. Barring that, though, I think if you do have Neto and you want to get rid of him this week, I think there is actually a bit of a not a standout player, but a player that's definitely people aren't just talking about him, and I don't know why. I think it's probably because of the fixtures. But Eze for Crystal Palace, I think, is a really, really good punt. Played really, really well against Liverpool. Obviously got an assist in that game. He's only 1.4% owned. His price is 5.5. They do have some tough fixtures coming up. Like, well, they've got one tough fixture coming up, which is City. But they've got Villa this week, Brentford in game week 5, Newcastle United, Brighton. I just think that he could be quite a nice punt. And yeah, Vieira has only said like good things about him. And yeah, he's not been playing like 90 minutes every single game, but he's been playing enough to warrant like bringing him in. So I think if you do want to get rid of Neto this week, I think that Eze could be like a nice little punt. You know, like the teams are very template at the moment, so having a player like Eze or Cucurella or someone like that is a nice kind of like breakaway. And it's the fun of FPL as well, like going for a punt, and then if they pay off, you're like, okay, that's sick, you know, it's great. And yeah, I just don't know why enough like people aren't talking about Eze. I think he's a nice little option. He's only 5.5. And yeah, obviously Crystal Palace had some tough fixtures at the start of the season, but now they've only really got Man City, and I know that's in game week 4, but you could easily just bench him. And then I'm guessing like people with a 5.5 mil player probably have like Nico Williams or something. I guess you could play him in game week 4 or something, but either way, yeah, Eze I think is a nice 5.5 option if you are thinking of getting rid of Neto this week. A little bit harder for Bailly because obviously he's 4.9 now, so you'll have to find 0.6 somewhere. So I think if you're a Bailly owner, I think you just cut your losses, downgrade to a 4.5 mil midfielder, and then bring in like a 4.5 mil defender or something if you have the money. I don't think there's any 4.4 midfielders yet, which is a little bit unfortunate, because obviously that will kind of cancel out the 0.1 difference. And of course money doesn't matter like later on in the season, but for right now where there's not a lot of like huge price changes, and it's just nice to have that round number of like 1 million, because it does stop you from making a lot of transfers. Like I say, I would not have been able to go from Neto to Reed and then Nico Williams to Cucurella if one of them had just a 0.1 price change. The whole thing would have fell through. So it's nice having that round number. But yeah, I think Eze is a nice option for Neto owners. I definitely looked at him. I thought it was a nice little punt, but I just felt like Cucurella probably could have done a little bit more, especially with the fixtures that they got coming up. And again, the thing about Eze at 5.5 is if it didn't work out, who else do you really go to? Whereas if it doesn't work out with Cucurella, there's so many options I can go to. So that was kind of the final nail in the coffin for me for Cucurella, is why I went for him against Eze. But if you don't want to play 5 at the back, or you already have 5 at the back and you're wanting to get in a Neto replacement, I think Eze could be a nice little shout. I've already gone over like transfers and stuff for certain players like Trippier, Darwin Núñez, and Neto and Bailly. I did that in yesterday's transfer video, so I'm not really going to go into that too much, but I didn't really talk about Eze yesterday, which is why I wanted to talk about him today. But yeah, barring that, I'm quite confident for this game week. I don't know, I feel like looking at my team, I think it could be on for a nice haul. I think the captaincy is quite a big decision this week, though. I think a lot of people are going to go Salah, a lot of people are going to go Jesus, a lot of people are going to go Haaland, Kane, maybe even Son. Son actually had a price drop as well, which was quite interesting, and Kulusevski had another price increase. So I think if I do attack like the Spurs up front, I think it could be a Diaz to a Kulusevski situation, and probably downgrade like Cucurella or something if I have to cross that bridge. But yeah, either way, final thoughts on this game week. Happy for it. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty nailed on Salah captaincy, but again, if anything happens in the press conference, then we'll obviously change that around. But yeah, that's my team going into game week 3. Hope you guys enjoyed the video though. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button down below. Let's try and hit 50 likes. Leave a comment. What is your game week 3 team looking like? Let me know. Talk me through your transfers, etc. Subscribe if you're brand new. And until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace.